distance-wise. Aha, yes. Victoria, I don't know. Here, and the mic's now on. Can the stream hear me? Fantastic. Okay. Cool. Well, I will step into shot and say hello. The streaming setup. We're here at London Games Festival as one of the official side events, and we have a load of indies, developers, makers, hackers, thinkers, and tinkerers who have brought their games to come and show to each other and share, and just generally get a vibe for what kind of thing each other is making, get feedback, share ideas, and help make weird worlds together. We are experimenting with the live stream format. The idea here is obviously there's a physical event that we're doing. We want to give people the opportunity to get a little further reach and build some digital audience into the internet and the people that might want to catch up on what's weird and what weird worlds are around remotely. So that's what we're up to here. The plan for the evening is to speak to the developers, take a look at some of their games with them, and to have a couple of small lightning talks about the making of worlds or the things that inspire the weird worlds that some of these developers make. So we have Jay here, who's just walked into shop live on stream. How are you doing, Jay?
Hello. I'm all right, thank you. Who am I talking to?
Everyone, the world. Victoria,
hello, nice to meet you.
Mostly.
Go to thejmo.net. It's my blog.
Yes, what we want to start with is I'm going to jump over to walking around with the stream and go and say hello and see a few of the things that are being made. Just give me a second. I'll make sure that I can switch cameras and do so. Live TV, huh? I've got something here that I can do that with. Okay, so all being well, I know. I need to get on the Wi-Fi, otherwise we're not going to get the other camera to work very well. So give me 1 second. One of the things I have got to do, top of my list, is actually to thank Sheridan's and Alex Tutty for sponsoring us tonight. They put some money behind the bar to enjoy a few drinks and hopefully get some honest feedback about games as we go. So thank you very much to the Loading Bar and to Sheridan's for being up for supporting us in this way, especially as this is relatively experimental to how we're doing things with Worlds. Without further ado, in a few seconds, we'll be able to give you a stream from a second camera. You should be able to see. Right. There we go. And what I'm going to do is effectively go around and say hello to. I'm on a live stream. Oh, there we go. There's some weird worlds. Right. What's the easiest? Can I flip? I can flip to. It's on front camera. Back triple cam. Here we go. So, interesting. The camera is in reverse, which is making my mind bend. As you can see, we've got a few different games in the room. We've got some adventure games. We've got some physical games. People have brought things with lights that you have to hit. Games where you play in a massive sphere running around the world environment. We have Wedding Planet, a game about planning weddings. We have a game about playing darts in a pub as a fish, I believe. So yeah, a few different things. My plan is to try and go around and say hello to a few different people and get a little bit of info about what they're making. I find each of the developers as we go. Maybe we'll speak to Jean first. He's getting a selfie with a fan, it looks like. There we go. Okay, Jean, you are live at the Loading Bar on Weird Worlds, and we are here to hear a bit more about the amazing, bright, shiny thing that you brought with you. Can you if I give you this mic,
Okie dokie.
hopefully everyone will be able to hear you.
All right. Well, hi everybody.
There's something very strange with how the camera works. It's working like in the opposite directions. It's like I get a weird reverse view, so you'll see me kind of moving quite strangely.
Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me here, and it's an absolute pleasure. Today I've got a slight upgrade from the previous iteration of this little sucker, which we had in Brighton when Playmin brought down a cardboard marble run, if I was to remember right, and we've got an incantation here, effectively, of a wonderful game of table tennis without a table, but it's a device which is electronic. There's no screens. It's just all about the buttons and the LEDs, and it's pretty straightforward to play.
Okay,
so I'm going to play now. I'm going to choose somebody to play with. Maybe Fraser, my who isn't paying attention, but
will you play live for us?
we're just live streaming at the moment. So whilst Fraser rearranges the drinks, I'll quick explain it. If you can see anything, I don't know. Well, I feel like I'm on an audio podcast.
We can see
a little bit.
See the game. If you
Lovely. Okay.
crouch a little closer to us, we'll be able to see you.
Yeah, you're probably going to get back a little bit. We've got this. It's about like 1 meter long, and it's just sort of to give that sort of like real physical presence of being in a real space where you're not sort of like breathing in each other's breath, or you've just got a little luxury of being able to like cheers each other, but also have a chat in a physical space. But here we go. I'm going to whack a button. I'm going to be serving. Well, we're off. There's no time for the wicked, Fraser. Okay, so the red light means that I won that point. I'm going to get a point here. Fraser's yellow. Your serve. Let's do it. And one of these things is about this game is that I've got to keep my concentration at the same time, but it is not easy. That's its kind of like its killer feature. There's no pixels apart from like one row. We've got a lot of UX to design into this to convey all the points and scores and just gameplay. But it is really mega hard, and Fraser just kicked my ass on his first go without a warm up. But let's go again, because it's I've got to beat you. He just did a super serve. So the mechanism with the serve, which is fun. You've got to imagine throwing up a ball, and when it kind of comes to your bat, you whack it at the right point. You're gonna smash it. So we go up, down. Okay, didn't quite make it. It will do the serve anyway. Okay, 1-1.
So it's like air hockey.
Yeah.
On a 1D board.
That's right.
Nice. Hey, we're live streaming. We've got a goblin.
Okay. Power play.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks
good.
very much, John.
Yeah,
That's a lovely experiment.
Hey.
And we'll head over to the spot. Are you up for telling us a little bit about the weird world that you've been making?
Sure, yes.
It's on a live stream? And we'll just come and talk to the developer.
Hello.
Could you introduce
That's me.
yourself, sir?
I'm Finn. I'm one of the developers of Marble Souls, and I do some of the level design and environment art on the project. Marble Souls is a 3D platformer that combines Dark Souls with Super Monkey Ball. So you're a knight trapped inside this marble, cursed to travel around this dark fantasy world. And like in Dark Souls, you pick up various souls and you can then level up your character. and this changes how you roll as a marble. So you can jump higher, break faster. So it becomes a very loose platform. In something like Mario, you jump the same way every time, but in Marble Souls, depending on how you level up, each playthrough is going to feel different, and you can tackle problems in different ways.
We can still hear you.
Cool, yeah.
I'll try and maybe I'll get someone with two hands to play.
Sure, yeah.
Someone with two hands come and play the game.
Okay, we've got a new player going right in. We're going to see, it's quite a challenging game, especially going in zero context. And it's very in development as well. So yeah, if you press right click right now, that should hide the mouse. So yeah, you just want to explore and collect souls. And there is a way out of this demo, but it's quite early on, this playtest build. So yeah, this is the upgrade menu. So on the left here, you've got these sort of larger stats groups like vitality, endurance, and if you hover over each of these, you'll see that they affect a number of these sort of core stats, and each of these relate to your marble. So acceleration, for example, is controlled by agility, and so on and so forth. Yes, unique souls. So there's these orbs.
You brought a game show? Yeah, great.
Oh, it's still running. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the game because this is like near the end. Can you hold this one?
The game is being reset. When do you reply my services?
We're at 8 o'clock already, aren't we?
So here's the game from the start. If you roll over these white messages, they should tell you how to play the game and give you some more context of what's actually going on. So yeah, this is a playtest build. So yeah, WASD and mouse to get moving, and then the rest of the controls should explain themselves as we go on. We've been making this game since about October, and as you can tell, we're still like ironing out a lot of the kinks and getting the ability up. It took quite a while to get to this what we wanted. Sorry, miss it. Yeah, I think it's got a special. Yes, yeah. Shout out Prison of Husks. So yeah, controlling your momentum is quite difficult, and where a lot of the challenge in the game comes from. Sure, yeah, and then that stone platform is a lift and will actually take you out of this area as well. You can also if you can jump with space and left click, you can dodge roll as well, which helps with movements.
Is that going to work any better? I don't know.
It's the lift is quite mean right now. I can teleport you up there if you want, because yeah, I don't want to see you suffer too much. Yeah, we're working with a sound designer and a composer, but it's pretty early days.
There are lots of successful indie XAA.
Nice.
Right, like a way back.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So there'll be a larger world to explore in the game. The sort of like semi-open worlds. And the very opening, just us getting our feet wet with the level design, and seeing how people react to it. Really. But yeah, that was really helpful to watch. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. That was Marble Souls.
Cool. Thanks very much, Link. So now we're going to go over to Steph, and we're going to get her to talk to us about wedding planning. Well, let's play Big Fish. Cool. So if I'm going to give a mic over to here.
Hey,
Could you tell us your name and tell us the name of the game?
The name of what? My name
Yep. Pleased to meet you, Nick.
I'm Nick and I'm the developer of Big Fish.
Cool.
What?
Yeah.
As a French developer,
Perfect. Okay, great. So, what can you tell us about the game, Nick?
It's a darts game. No one has ever made a full darts game ever. There are a bunch of okay mini games, I guess, in like esports or like Persona, Yakuza. But no one really made a full darts game only about that. So me and my friend Mathis, who is not here today, we are both massive roguelites nerds. We played a shit ton of Balatro stuff, of Gungeon, all of these games. And we are has 9 darts and there are different powers. And you can interact with the board to make it crazy and you don't have power and some stuff. But this is like round one, so you just have to figure out how to throw darts. Which is not that bad. Not the worst I've seen today.
no, I don't want to go there. I understood what you wanted me to do. The UI is wasn't the greatest score.
The round, the first leg is intentionally a bit long, so you kind of figure out how to throw that, and then it will get crazy, basically. It's like a 5 legs tutorial.
So if I wanted to go for
But yeah, just hit the tribal.
harder, depending where you're aiming.
Yeah, the longer you wait, the faster it gets.
Hey, I'm learning.
I mean, Steph already obviously knows plenty about darts because she's going for triple 20. You know, it's not just going for the bullseye.
Now I will just get you.
Oh, what does this mean?
It's debug tool.
Oh, I see.
I didn't make a fuck of my game just for today.
I don't know what I'm aiming for. I'd say that I don't know why I'm playing. Just to get as high a score as possible. Oh,
And so, Nick, how long have you been making this game?
3 months.
3 months. And what was its name again?
Big Fish.
Big Fish. And it's why is it called Big Fish?
In darts, if you do treble 20, bullseye to finish, it's a big fish.
Oh, okay.
That's a funny thing in that. So we thought about that. It's a cool name, and so you can make a game with fish. So all the characters are fish. Monsters are fish. It's a cool name.
Yeah, it is a cool name. We like it.
So now she's on a way crazier board. game, the goal of this game is to best. It's not to hit tier 1 exactly, it's to best.
Okay. And so this is like a mini game within the game.
It's like the whole game is about besting. So you go through the legs and you have to make higher and higher scores. But you never have to hit tier 1 or 501. It's boring. You have to hit 1 billion points. And if your target is 1 billion, you should hit 2 billion, so you get better upgrades.
Nice. Well, it is now. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Nick. Thanks for showing. You're welcome. Unfortunately, the live stream is about as hacky as it could get. I'm sure anyone watching this is probably seasick because I can't camera very well. But seasick watching big fish, exactly. So the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna roll on to doing a little talk actually from Flo. So in a couple of minutes' time, we'll get her set up. We're going to have a talk about Solarpunk and world building in that realm. So if you just give us a couple of sort of minutes, I will get that together, and that's where we'll go next. Have a mouse. Get a microphone. This onto you so that we can get on the stream as well. And hopefully everything will all work.
Yeah. Can you bring up the trailer on the Steam page so that I want to switch on the back and forth? Can you do that here or?
Yeah. No, you're fine. It's fine. The Steam page.
Yeah. So. I think store.steam. Power.com.
I'll give you a big mic so you'll be able to hear your voice being projected.
Then I have to hear my own voice, so.
Well, there we go.
Yep.
Cool. So, I don't know why. I think fine, but if you find your presentations, don't worry too much.
Okay. I guess, yeah, we can pause it and then see if it loads.
Get it started so it's better. Playing okay, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know team-wise. We can put it up.
Have to try and grab this sound from over there.
Thank you. I know this is extra than the slides. I think, yeah, it's just a lot. That's away from the camera for a second. Sorry? I don't know. Is this mic recording?
Once we go live, it will
Okay, okay.
be on live stream.
Okay, okay.
Not until you're up.
Okay, okay.
So getting the sound for the video is going to be hard.
Okay.
Can we manage
I think it's okay. Yeah, yeah. I think that as long as they can see it, it's one of those things that it's a bit hard to. Okay.
Cool. Well, I will. Should there be of you on the screen?
Okay, okay. So I stand around there.
Okay. Hello. Thank you for coming to Weird Worlds. We've got a couple of little extra bits that we're going to try out in terms of type things. Power games, talking about building aspirational worlds and solar power. So if you could give her ears so that she can tell us some interesting things about solar power, then that would be much appreciated. And I will pass it over to Paul.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. I know where your slides are. Can we start on the?
Start on the first
Can we start
slide.
on the slide and then yeah. I mean, at some point, let's play the trailer, and if you do it, then. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. So my lightning talk is called "The Future is Solar Beating Aspirational World." Next. Okay. So this is a lightning talk, so I am going to chat about it. So I'm going to start by telling you a bit about myself and my solarpunk game, Elemental Flow. We'll discuss what solarpunk is and why I think it's important. And finally, I'll tell you a bit about how I designed this solarpunk world and how you can make your own. But also a pro tip, this is also good advice for world building in general. I am focusing on solarpunk. It's a bit of an unusual setting, but some of the things you hear you might be able to use to build the worlds in your own games. Oh, that's a bit awkward. All right, so Elemental Flow is an earnest visual novel hybrid set in a solarpunk alternate Argentina with active conversation encounters instead of traditional battles. And it's a little bit hard to explain exactly what that means, But hopefully we'll be able to play a trailer for the game soon. Laptop dependent. We don't have sound, unfortunately, but you can see the conversation encounters, you can see the visual novel-like segments, and you can see Clara coming back to her hometown after being away during her studies and trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life as she finds out that she has these magical conversation powers, which let her reach an understanding with other characters through active conversation mechanics by talking, listening, and thinking with the people she knows and these magical facets of them that she can speak to.
Ready?
Yeah, we can.
I need to just switch over to Google Slides because Libre is dying.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, we have a great artist working with us who's also from Argentina. So between the two of us, we're kind of able to pull in all of these things that I don't see very often. And thank you.
Sorry.
No problem. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself in the meantime. So I'm Florence Manuzzi. I'm Team Games. I'm a writer and narrative designer from Argentina, living in the UK. And while I do a lot of freelance writing and narrative design, our in-house games focus on telling different kinds of stories, making conversations engaging and mechanically interesting to play. We'll get there. Okay. I'll keep talking. My slides are kind of aids anyway. So I want to start by talking to you a bit about Solarpunk, which you may have. So Solarpunk world, there's a couple of different kind of touchstones that you can focus on, although as with any genre, things are a little bit different depending on the work you're looking at. So a few important tenets are, slide 5.
Slide 5, great.
Yep.
This will work better. Good.
Hey, there we go. We're back. Thank you for the tech support. So in terms of Solarpunk, you're working towards a consultative associations which help get things on track. And there is no capitalism, sometimes no currency either. So as you might know, via things like mutual association and the kind of assumptions of what does and doesn't work in society. So it is quite a radical view.
How to Solarpunk?
Oh.
Is that right or not?
Go back one. No, you've gone for it. So go back like 2.
What's happened?
Okay, so neither. So 2 more. The other way.
Next one.
Yes, there we go. Okay.
Weird worlds. All
Thank
on
you.
brand.
Part of the experience. All right, so why did I choose Solarpunk? So I think that dystopian works are very good at telling you what to avoid and at highlighting current problems, but not necessarily how to solve them. And utopian works can show you a desirable endpoint, but they can be too far away to feel connected to our world, or it's hard to see the path that you have to take to get to there. But I find Solarpunk to be aspirational. It's closer to our world and it inspires creative solutions. After all, if you can't imagine where you're going, it's hard to change and get there. So I want to quickly read this quote from the writer Ursula Le Guin when she accepted her distinguished contribution to the American letters in 2014. "We live in capitalism. Its power seems inescapable. So did the divine right of kings. Any human power can be resisted and changed by human beings. Resistance and change often begin in art, and very often in our art, the art of words." So to me, solarpunk is a good way to show something desirable but close enough to our current imagination that it helps us chart a path towards a different future. And building this game is like yes. How does solarpunk? Okay. Next. I also have my pages in the wrong order, which is very helpful as well. I will get there. Yeah, definitely. And I can't find it. Something like this is to get inspired. You don't have to start from scratch. Solarpunk is a genre that is out there, and you don't have to be inspired by things that are 100% solarpunk, but that have some of that spirit in them. So, for example, thinking about games, you can learn from Pokemon's connection between people, technology, and nature. Or I was a teenage exocolonist, and its approach to going to a new planet and trying to live there without harming the planet itself. You might look to books like The Dispossessed, which show the beauty and the hardships of trying to live in a truly anarchist society. Or you can have a cozier experience in the Monk and Robot series, which is more kind of individual focused than societally focused. You can look at nature and science and technology around you and anything that inspires you there. You could look at your local and grassroots organizing, any kind of groups that you belong to or that you care about and what it is they do. And if to delve into more detail, I found that Andrew Sage's videos on YouTube under the channel Andrewism, good kind of primer on solarpunk and anarchy and what those mean and how you can make small changes in your life to work towards them. Definitely find this page. 7. Okay. So with that in mind, you can come up with your own solarpunk stories, but like all new settings, this isn't going to be easy. There's a lot of modern world So do you have some kind of planning office that oversees different structural projects? Do you have work shifts for the kind of work that no one wants to do that you can spread around different people? Are there social pressures to do some of these things that we don't necessarily have in our society because we have economic pressures instead? How do you manage communal space and services? How much weight do you give to each and on what basis? Goods where they need to be on time. And what's your standard of living? How does environmentally friendly and world work? Is it post skills and solar? And importantly, there is this a kind of as a version of think about culture and history. Like in all having diverse cast represented. So in our game, in various field. we wanted to show a version instead celebrate. With sustainable practices. So I had to think about how you have a meat-loving nation in a world that otherwise is very careful about being sustainable. For building materials and art, for example, we've added modern versions of traditional patterns. You can see some of that a little bit in the slide, in the patterns of the buildings, as well as graffiti elsewhere. In terms of nature, I wanted to make sure to depict local plants. So for example, Buenos Aires has a lot of jacaranda trees, which is what the town was named for, which produce those lovely purple flowers that you see there. And if you're from there, you will recognize them, and if not, addition to the world. Technology-wise, some solarpunk can be more technological than others. It kind of varies. To get this place technology that's kind of on par with ours today, that an oddity for the world. So I had to think about solarpunk in general, but then also how to apply to do the same. As I said, this is a talk about solarpunk, but really it's a talk about world building and thinking about the small decisions that you make when you make your world and what they add up to and how they mesh with your game. Yeah. And that's it for my very quick tour through making a solarpunk world. We have a kind of 3-hour demo of the game on Steam. So if you want to have a look at it in action, then there's a QR code or come find it on Steam. If you have any questions for me, please come find me. I'm Flom, F-L-O-M, on Blue Sky, or look at tpoweredgames.co.uk. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much. I just wish that we'd got a bit longer to dive into that, but one of the things that I want to do with Weird Worlds is actually do some of this where I'm not juggling it all live, and so I'm sure you get the opportunity to jump into solarpunk in more depth. Over this time at BAFTA, Yuki, and generally in games and music. So we're going to take for another sort of 10 minutes of just chatting through some weird ones. And we'll let you get back to playing games and having drinks.
Right, so having actual fun, not listening to me, I guess. Then.
There we go. So if I give you a mic.
Okay, cool. Hello.
And I'll give myself a mic as well. But
Hello.
no, there we go. And I think we're both in shot-ish.
That sounds, yeah.
Sure. So, that way. Yeah? Okay. Great. And I need... for anyone that this is the first time that you've come to a Weird Worlds event, it's always this ad hoc and slightly kind of broken around the edges as I try and juggle various things, because the whole idea is to experiment with different ways to get people into a room sharing their games, and me try and help you share them with a wider audience. I think a lot of the time if you make experimental things, it can be quite hard to come forward and share it and kind of be brave. And so the whole idea is it's kind of an open format where people can just turn up, bring their laptop, show what they're working on. And I think it's interesting then to get someone like Luke in, who has worked all different scales across the games industry and seeing games from the tiny to the massive, and giving them little golden faces on stages and things like that, as opposed to BAFTA, that's too obscure. So yeah, Luke, do you mind telling us a bit about your kind of experience in kind of supporting worlds, the things that inspired you into world building and supporting people who do this?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm Luke Hebblethwaite. So I was at BAFTA, where my role was really working on the culture, looking at the cultural impact that game has on us, and so recognizing the things that come together in a unique medium that combines such a creative arts together with a lot of, internet work of things to come together. How that we create doing that. Before I did that, I for games, where I worked a bit more on the business side of games. So looking at how we industry, how we create an ecosystem and a business environment that enables people like yourselves to take their games to the next level, to scale up, to get the money, to start to make revenues, and to get the stuff you need under the hood to help you create the games that you've got that vision for. And so on both sides of that, it's kind of a different side of the world of how the games operates. It's kind of this strange industry that we have, kind of the art side of it, but then it's a very, very business-driven industry, which is quite, I think in its own way, quite unique compared to the other creative industries. So they're the sort of two angles I've come at games from. Before that, I used to work in the music industry. I've worked in a bunch of other sort of tech and adjacent stuff, but I've played games since I was very, very young. Actually, the first console, it's not really a console, home computer was a ZX Spectrum that I had in probably the mid-80s. My parents used to run a CB shop where they sold CB radios. They ran the local CB club. We don't really have that anymore. As a side hustle on the side of it, they sold ZX Spectrums. And consequently, we had one home that kind of fell off the shelf accidentally. And tapes being the games at the time, well, they came to our house sometimes, or, you could... yeah, we did that. And so I like a plastic bin full of things. I played a lot of games. And who knew that 40 years later it would become my career? So that's kind of how I got here. And yeah, I guess through all of that in those journeys, both playing games, but also now working in it professionally, seeing how different games come together, how games at different scales achieve different kinds of things, how they influence different kinds of people. Not everything has to appeal to everyone. I think it's important, but also how indie games, micro games, experimental games influence the expensive of AAA games. And I think that's one of the things that I always found the most joyful about working at BAFTA, especially when you get to the things like the awards, is when you see, I don't know, Vampire Survivors winning Best Game, which is, a game that's not entirely dissimilar to some of the stuff that's being made here, beating God of War and Elden Ring. But then the first people on their feet at that point, when it was announced with the God of War team, they were like, oh my God, this game's amazing. And that warmth that you get for the love for each other's games in the medium, I think is very unique to our industry. And I think that's a really important part of how the medium continues to evolve.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you about, as well as having sort of helped map the UK games ecosystem at UKI and then supporting kind of the greater arts through BAFTA, do you have creative processes of your own that have driven your passion in being involved in supporting game makers?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's two sides to that. So I'm generally, I think, a creative person. I'm a musician myself. You can probably tell by the jacket and the long hair. That also meant it was quite hard to get a job in the north when I was 19. Because they'd look at me and be like, you're not going to want to work in this quarry. Which they were right, actually, it turns out. But then, so yeah, I do a lot on the creative side. I make levels for Doom myself. I make some music. I do a few other things on that side. I do quite a bit of writing. But on the business side, on the work side, I think, the drive to recognize the great work that everyone else is doing, seeing the art that's made out there. I don't make games myself outside of, levels for Doom, that kind of stuff. But like, I love the fact that this medium creates all these myriad different experiences, these wholly very different experiences at all these scales. And so, being someone who's a big fan of all of that, being able to play my part in helping you guys help cool stuff is what inspires me to do that.
Absolutely, great. And so in terms of where people who make this can take them, and your kind of insight when it comes to how you scale from taking an experiment and getting maybe nominated for a BAFTA and
Sure.
driving something forward. Do you have any insights as to how people who are driven by the art and the experiment tend to then have an opportunity to take it further and join into that business side of things?
Yeah, I think it's, one of the things that I think about people outside, obviously, I think people industry together into this big thing we call the games industry. And so there's lots of microcosms of different kinds of games. Obviously, you've got Steam-based indie games, you've got massive console games, you've got the whole mobile world, you've got whatever else, right? So I think when you've got games that are at a very experimental level, they're trying to achieve certain kinds of things, right? So they're trying to define new mechanics, they're looking at experimental ways, they're trying to tell stories that necessarily haven't been told before in games, or finding new ways to do that. And so they're trying to do, and they're not trying, aside from the unicorns that come out of that, the Balatros and the Vampire Survivors, which are obviously great, but they are the needlest of the needle in the haystack at that point. I think understanding what those games are trying to achieve, what good and success looks like, and then taking those lessons and moving into bigger projects. So it's a sense of scaling up through those. I think one of the things, obviously we're going through a lot of struggles in the games industry at the moment now, right? It's difficult to make games. We know about all the stuff that's going on. I think also having multiple projects that are out there, games at a smaller scale, is definitely something people are looking at and spreading their bets. So they're not putting £500,000 into making this one game that needs to achieve this much money to me back and forth. To make a smaller game, give you several irons in that fire, and therefore if one does really well, great, and it kind of pays for the other two. So I think they're good things to bear in mind when thinking about how your business grows. But really, it's also about building a fan base. It's also about establishing yourself as someone who can do stuff, and then also being able to show that as portfolio for getting other work, whether within games, helping other people make games, or as outside of that, with just being games very much at the bleeding edge of technology, of coding and that kind of stuff. So they're very good skills to have, that help pay the bills while you're doing the stuff you love.
And then my last question I wanted to ask you, are there any weird worlds that you're reading, watching, or fascinated with at the moment that you can share with us?
I mean, so many, right? I mean, that's the joy of it. I think actually the thing I was thinking about when you asked me to do this, the thing that immediately sort of stuck in my head actually about why I wanted to come and do this talk really was that one of the things that I love about games, and not all games do this, but is that the worlds that they create kind of evoke, maybe it's just in me, but I think in a lot of people, a real sense of place. Like when we talk about worlds in games, that world building that we just heard about, they're able to create an almost real place to us. And I think a lot of games can do this. I can still navigate my way around games I played 30, 40 years ago. When I play City Skylines and build that city in that certain way, I'm creating something that means something to me. And I think, maybe it's a human animal part of this, that they're as real to me as real places I have been in lots of ways, even though they're things created out of your imaginations. And I think that's a really powerful thing that no other medium really has in the same way. I mean, obviously film, animation, and so forth do build worlds out themselves, but they're delivered through a certain kind of mechanism in a certain kind of way. Books, obviously a very creative medium, can do all sorts, your imagination runs wild. Games have sort of several avenues of that. They have the physical spaces they create, they have the world building and the words and the literature, they have the music, they have all of this stuff that comes together. And I think that, for me, is one of the things that really stands out to me about worlds and why they're important to create. And I think they sort of sit at a sort of fundamental level within us. And so there's lots of games that do that. I could go on about this all day, but there's one game I was really thinking about, and it's kind of relates to I'd say my parents at CB shop, we had the ZX Spectrum, right? In the 1980s, called Frankie Goes to Hollywood, obviously based on the band. Right? Has anyone ever heard of it or played it? Right, a couple of guys at my sort of age group in the back, right? What did you think? Right? But it's such a unique game in its own way. And it's exactly the sort of game that comes out of the minds of people like you here, right? It's all of these different things that go together in a very strange way to create what, for me, was an extremely artistic game at that very early day, in those very early days, that I don't think has really been kind of bettered in some ways. It starts off as you're a little guy who walks around in a little rectangle in your town. You start off in a lounge, and then you can go into the kitchen, through the doors, and eventually out into the street and into the houses. And then eventually you come across a dead body, and you have to solve the murder of who killed this person. And once you do that, you start getting clues that come up, like a logic problem. And they say, Mrs. Mundane played the piano, and Joe Normal can't read music. So you get these kind of like, I'm starting to pick a bit of a story out of that. At the same time, you interact with objects in the world, and either you can get the milk from a fridge and put it in a bowl and a cat will come out. But as you do some of these things, other windows appear, and you can walk out of those into these kind of strange mini games that are quite politically focused. And so you had like Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev as like opposing heads that fired bullets at each other, and they had to. It's like Space Invaders, but with them. Or like one that's like a bombs over Dresden, where you had to shoot down planes that were doing nuclear terror way. And then, same time, in these points, these power pills would appear that would then give you these bars on the side that would think faith, power, love, and anything else. And they, as they grew, you level those up to the maximum in order to become a real person, because Frankie was a person that wasn't real. And all these kind of competing mechanics that come together. I was 9, right? And I was like, I don't understand this at all, right? You know, but like, it's a wonder of just the best, right? And so for me, the weird world of that has always very much influenced my thinking of what's possible in games. And you know, I tried to watch a YouTube Let's Play of it and see someone, and I still didn't really understand it. But the experience of and what was trying to me, what weird world. So it's 40. Beat that one. Beat that one. All right. Well, my pleasure. So thank you.
Brilliant. Well, Luke, thanks for coming along. Everyone, we've got plenty of other games to come and check out. And I've got some drinks tokens that are lovely sponsors of to buy everyone a drink.
And if you need legal advice, where's the best place to go?
Sheridan.
Turns out, I've done this before.
Yeah, thanks very much. Great. All right, well, I'll let you get back to playing.
Thank you. Thanks, mate. That was great.
Thank you.
All right.
I would just like to say, on the back of what you've just said, a lot of...
I'll take that off so you can have private conversations.
I'm trying to contact you through Luma.
Yep.
I wanted to be able to present, so I'm not sure.
I'm not going to... You want to demo that? Does that work?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah?
Because I've been trying to contact you through Luma.
Yeah.
I think about a week ago or sometime before as well.
Well, this isn't my day job.
That's fine, I know.
It's part of it. Yeah, apologies that you haven't managed to get hold of me.
Hopefully next time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely.
So do you do this regularly?
I mean, when I get a chance, yeah. So I tend to
So his own project. Yes. It's lovely what you do.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, like literally, it's I run a studio.
Sorry?
The name is Studio.
No, yours.
My name is. Yeah, and anytime I go to a conference, I try and get anyone else together just to share what they're up to. It is very informal. Feel free to find the space. There's plug here if you need. There's space to do that. What I'm going to do is I've got to ask 2 more people about their games on the stream.
Oh, yeah.
And then I get to turn live stream off, and then I can.
Oh, are we streaming now? Is that?
No, that's okay. You'd like to get a drink from the bar? Thank you. Okay. Right. Hopefully, it's possible to see me on the stream again and hear me on the stream again. Victoria's done an amazing job of managing the chaos here for us. But what my plan is to just
come around and see a couple more of the games that we have, and then after that we'll wrap up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come round the corner here to one of the Dom and Cole. So I'm going to pass over here. You'll see me. I'll probably try and flip the camera around once again, which does. You can probably see a chair or a table. Here we go, and we're back again. So, first thing I'm going to do.
So now you can move the column around. You can move it.
Interrupt, and I'm gonna. We're on a live stream of Weird Worlds.
Oh,
I'm
right.
just gonna sort of listen in on you explaining a game, if that's all right.
Sure.
There's a mic here. Even holding
Okay.
that. So you can just grab one of those.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah.
Should I go from the beginning?
Are you happy for him to go and explain this to us?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
I mean, we're.
Well, introduce yourself and tell us the name of the game as well.
Yeah. So my name is Jose.
Yep, nice and close.
My name is Jose Pedro, and is Summon Call, which is a prototype, an early prototype of a turn-based two-player falling blocks game, in which, in addition to trying to eliminate the blocks that are falling in your well, you're also trying to build the blocks for your opponent. So you're trying to pick the worst possible blocks for them so that they'll end up filling their well before you fill yours.
Yep.
So it's turn-based. So in each round of the game, you have a limited number of actions that you can perform. So you have to make a trade-off between working towards building a new block for your opponent and working towards eliminating the blocks that are falling in your own well. So I didn't get your name. I'm playing with Max right now. Max is eliminating. So Max's blocks are falling in this well on the right, and he's just built this block for me up here, which is falling into my well down here. And so that's the block that I built for him. So yeah, I was just explaining to Max what he can do now that he's got a block falling. So yeah, you can, as you've seen, you can move the block left and right, and you can also, if you go back to where it was, if you press left, you can also cycle it up and down. So you press up or down, it will so you'll move like the B and A up, and the C goes down to the bottom. So yeah, those are the. This is a mechanic that comes from the Sega game Columns, which was like their answer to Tetris in the 90s or something. Yeah.
Great, and that's one of your early inspirations for the game as well?
Yeah, it was. I'm thinking of moving towards something that's a bit more similar to Tetris for the next prototype, but I want to add more unique mechanics as well. Hopefully to make it more interesting, and also to eliminate the risk of being sued by Nintendo or Sega.
Yep. It's great. I love the look of the game. It's got like obviously it's very simple and minimalist, but the aesthetic's really strong. Like visually, is there any particular influence to the visual for your game as well?
No, not really. It's just it's a terminal based application running in Linux. So I was just using I was just doing the most with the limited
The ASCII set that you had.
I have. Yeah.
I mean, it's great. I mean, I suppose that's what gives you that kind of true aesthetic, as well as the fact that it's built like for the terminal in pure ASCII. It's not sort of pixel art that's trying to copy that aesthetic.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, great. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the Weird Worlds that you're inspired by, or the things that you like making?
I'm not sure how much I should reveal about my the direction I'm planning to take it in because I haven't
Okay.
yet.
That's fine.
Well,
We-
I haven't, but also like
I'd like to keep a surprise in the bag.
Trademarked anything. I haven't publicized anything yet. So yeah.
No, that sounds
I
good.
guess if you're interested, you can follow me on Instagram.
Yep.
Raw.moose, so raw.moose. I'll start talking about it once I've made more progress with the next prototype, which I want to release as a demo.
Brilliant.
So yeah, this version won't be released probably.
It'll have evolved.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Hopefully we'll get to see that next version at one of the next Weird Worlds then.
Yeah, hope so.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much, Jose. And we'll look forward to seeing more.
Thanks.
So we have another game here that I would like to come and say hello to. Would you be up for being on the live stream and showing us a little bit of your game? Yeah? Probably, can you click this onto here? That you pull, it's sort of got like yeah, there you go. It's a little tricky. Okay. Perfect. Okay, great. Can you introduce yourself to us and let us? Yeah.
Yeah, my name's Amir. Libby. So Libby stands for Little Big Engine. We built our own 3D game engine from scratch. So there's issues with Unity and Unreal, which myself and my co-founder didn't really like. So we decided to build our own engine from scratch that works in the browser. So all the graphics, the rendering, the physics technology, we built it in C++. And then it compiles to WebAssembly. And we use WebGPU. So you can get close to almost triple A level graphics right in the browser. And we've been testing, it even works on the iPhone 11. So even if you have an old device, it should work. And everything is completely dynamic. So for example, the sky, I can change the level of clouds, increase the cloud coverage, and the wind speed. And then you can see it also affects, the foliage as well. And it's very easy, just drag and drop. So the idea is for this 3D engines for anyone to start building their own experiences and games and use your own assets. So if you've got like OBJ, GOTF 3D models, you can just drag and drop them and it automatically optimizes right in the browser in the engine. It's free to use, there's no license right now.
Okay. Where would people find it?
So it's on Libby, libi.xyz. That's what we are now.
And so have you got a game of your own that you're building in it as well? Or is your project building the weird world of this engine for other people to spawn worlds into?
So right now we're building some really weird worlds. So if I was to right click on the terrain, I've got all these different brushes and I can start just messing around and adding.
Does it do procedural generation?
Yeah, this is all procedurally generated.
This is all procedural.
Yeah. So then when I turn it off, you should see it starts to generate the different plants and flower and fauna. So you can, basically just create all sorts of worlds. You can dig into the surface. So for example, if I was to right click again, let's say, so I'm just making the brush. You can see I'm just digging right into the world, and you can create all sorts of tunnels and stuff. And then you can change the settings so that when you, I'll show you now. When I press the brush off, it automatically adds all these rocks and stuff. And you can just delete them. You just remove the rocks that you don't need. But this is great for world building.
Yep.
So the procedural stuff helps reduce the amount of time it takes to build out a massive world. So you want a world with like cliffs, you want a world with clouds, with beaches and stuff, it procedurally create that. But you also have the ability to fine tune and remove the things that you don't like either. And replace it with other items and other assets.
Great.
Yeah. And it's also multiplayer, so I can have multiple people in this space building along with me.
Yep.
Creating all sorts of games. So adding game logic is very easy. You can just right click, and then you see that we have this node-based system. All you do is you just add various nodes into either connect the nodes together without needing to code, or you can add JavaScript to add the logic you need. So right now, we're building out templates to make it very easy for someone to get started. You can create like a platformer. Eventually, you can create first-person shooters, fighting games, and I guess what we really love to build out is like a whole kind of adventure game, like a multi, like a massively multiplayer kind of game.
Okay, great.
With all sorts of lore and stuff.
Great. Well, thanks very much for showing, and I look forward to seeing more.
Cheers. Thank you.
I'm going to nick that off you. Thanks very much. And so we have an adventure game called Best of Humanity here as well. Best of Humanity by Pontus and a Finnish team who can't make it here tonight. And so Diogo, our good friend, has been helping. I was going to try and do the stream. Work out how to do that. So we probably won't be able to get hold of Pontus right now. But for another opportunity, a longer form thing where it's less in a noisy environment, and we can talk. Best of Humanity is a game where you are transporting greatest minds of humanity across the solar system. As far as I know, it's a piece of interactive fiction. They started making it as a, I believe, so it's been turned around. What is the name? It's Inklang. So it's an interesting to ofhumanity.itch.io to check it out, and that is kind of it for tonight. I think.
It gets better and better.
I've had quite a few lagers now.
And sort of things to make your game score.
Oh,
higher.
okay.
It's very good.
That's what they do on the red carpet these days. I don't feel like celebrity.
We don't have Chef here. This is our last opportunity. We can check out a bit of wedding.
Oh boy.
So Chef, can you tell us a bit about wedding?
Oh yeah. Well, it's very early. I should add the caveat. I'm gonna just play from start. So Wedding Panic is a deck building game about managing an insane family wedding, and it's based on my own trauma. And essentially, it's basically if you took Balatro and made it about planning a wedding, I guess. Or like Landlord. It's probably more inspired by Lackey and Landlord, if I'm honest. So you have these character cards. As you go on, make higher and higher scores, build better synergies. So Bridesmaid with Beef has this personality trait. She has a nemesis. If she's on a table with hang on. Who is she? Right. She's on a table that creates more drama, and we want drama. We want drama and crack. The Irish spelling crack. Turning interesting wedding, and that's what the score is based on. And favors when you go to the store to give you a little synergy boost And the top table cards, you can actually change their personality traits. So as you go on, you will, oh no, I don't have enough money. Okay, you will buy more cards and yeah, you'll get more score in theory. It's very early days. The game loop is still work in progress, but if you want to like get rid of someone because they're a dud, you get rid of them and they're gone.
Amazing. I mean, I love the aesthetics thing, like the 1950s style illustration. Is that
Yeah, I've been obsessed with mid-century. Actually, Rich, I've been obsessed with mid-century art since I was working with you. That's madness. I've been trying to push it as a vibe for a while. I think that it's a really fascinating period of time in animation history where people who worked at Disney were popped off with the corporate Disney thing, and they didn't like being told how to do things, what to do. So they just branched out and started making this really cheap, easy to make mid-century style, and it's what all of the animations we love on Cartoon Network are like based on. You can see it in everything, and I love it. And it's also incredibly janky, which is great when you're a solo dev hand animating it all, because the jank is like, oh, it's not a bug, it's a feature. So yeah.
Well, I absolutely love this game. I love the fact that it's coming along leaps and bounds every time I see it. So I'm looking forward to seeing more. Have you got any last parting things you'd like to say to us?
My Steam page will be live soon, so if anyone cares, I would love a wish list. But yeah, that's it really.
Thanks very much, sir. Okay. I think we are there or thereabouts now. I'll just switch over. So, all being well, you should still have me here. Oh, we're in the wind down of Weird Worlds for the Weird Worlds wind down. I guess this is the time where I say thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for watching the stream. We've had a lovely, lively night. All thanks to generous support from Jimmy at the loading bar and Alex and the team at Sheridan's. We'll be doing more of this. It will get more professional over time as I work out how to run a stream in a live environment. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing some of the stuff that we've seen here today. I certainly have. I've really enjoyed the kind of breadth and depth of the games that we've seen, and I quite like the little format that we've got going with the lightning talks. But let me know in the comments or drop me an email as to what I can improve, which will be a long list, and I'll look forward to hearing from you. Yeah, let me know if there's other Weird Worlds that you want to see and hear about. I will be trying to find more and more ways to get this kind of thing together for everyone. So we'll try and make it a semi-regular feature, and we'll share some Weird Worlds with you on a regular basis as we go. Thanks again for watching. Thanks to everyone for coming. Thanks to our sponsors, Sheridan's and Loading Bar, for helping this happen. And we will see you all soon.